Hi everyone. So it's me and T today. It's February 28th in the Philippines. It's February 27th in the evening. And are you in Las Vegas now, or where are you now,
No,
Doc?
nobody knows.
No, nobody knows. Okay, he's
I'm
just somewhere in USA.
I'm in Washington D.C.
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's been an incredible week. I, Actually, that is an understatement. So it's been a very historical week. And how do you want to start? All right. You, of all people, are very much into geopolitical events. So can you share to us anything about what happened and transpired last week and this week? I have very little opinion when it comes to these Russian-Ukraine invasions. What do you have to say about the markets and the geo?
Yeah, I mean, I can only tell you from my perspective as like an American, and then maybe you can let us know from your perspective of
Hmm.
thing, because everybody seems to get different information depending on where your internet is connected.
Okay.
Um, it definitely seems like there's sort of like this red line that has been crossed in terms of the Ukraine being admitted into like the NATO. Um, and for whatever reason, this posturing with Russia has gone back and forth. I don't know like why at this exact moment it's been chosen to happen, but it is what it is. Um, I've been like incredibly impressed with, I would have thought, 1 or 2 days. It seems like the entire Russian military has just descended on Ukraine, and it hasn't gone down yet. So, I think the real question begs is what are going to be the repercussions that the United States and the rest of Europe are gonna do with Russia, and then how is Russia going to respond? And it just feels like we're kind of, at least from my end, I'm positioned like I need to see what is happening here. I'm totally convinced that whatever happens, everything, how we communicate, how we transfer money, everything is done on the internet. So I think that some cyber initiative is going to be started, and hopefully it doesn't get too bad, because that's really, besides your house being destroyed, or seeing somebody you love die. Uh, they have Both sides have the capability of wiping out entire financial data systems. And unfortunately, until we move onto a blockchain economy, like that's the risk that we live in. And so that's kind of my real concern in terms of that. I don't know. I think that Ukraine and Russia need to come up with an agreement that is sort of like, you win, I give up something, and Russia is like, I win, you give up something. And I think that thing is going to be, maybe just putting off them requesting going into NATO. If there's any sort of, this is why Russia claims that they're doing what they're doing. There's probably ulterior motives, but so if Ukraine says, "Yeah, we're going to shelve the whole NATO entry into NATO thing for many years," and Russia's can claim that victory and back off, then I think that's like best case scenario for everybody, right? Um, what I think is going to happen um, is a little different than what I want to happen. I do think that there's going to be, a little bit of a peace agreement, and then there's going to be some reneging on deals. That's going to kind of push forward this new initiative, and like this whole changing world order thing that we see happening before us. So, unfortunately, I think it's going to end up with some form of a proxy government being placed there. I think that potentially some other actors in different areas of the world are going to seize on this as well. So,
Okay. I just wanted to say hello to some people in the who's watching. Hi, James. He's in the island of Guam and he's watching. It's actually 12 afternoon in Guam, and apparently James is also called Santiago in Manila. Hi, James. Um, Just you know, in case like people have questions, just type it in the comments, and
Yeah,
I'll of course
definitely,
ask it
definitely.
to I mean, you can address both of us, any of us.
Hmm.
So going through your answers, I've been looking at the markets while you were talking. As we speak, a lot of the currencies are falling down. Russian ruble is down 40%. You've got a lot of European currencies under pressure this Asian Monday, like 1% down, 2% down. I'm going to show to people what I'm seeing. Wait, let me share my screen. Markets are still on the red, like here. Euro is down 1%, New Zealand dollar, Danish kroner, Mexican peso, South African rand. The markets are, some futures are a little bit down. A lot of people are asking me actually about the futures. They're seeing that Russian ruble is actually down massively. To me, though, uh, if you're seeing this, the Russian ruble went from 13 cents, 0.013 to the dollar to 0.011, and then now it rallied 10% from its lows. It's like it's down 30% from its currency high on October 2021. So that means like and that's like from October. If we're gonna zoom out, since when was this? Wow. I didn't know that the Russian ruble devalued like crazy, almost 50% down for the last 6 years,
Can
six,
you
7 years.
can you
Yeah.
imagine like during like World War II, like
Mhm.
what the like German Deutsch mark did during that? Like the swings on that must have been crazy.
So basically, what this war is waging is really negative for the entire Russian Republic.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing in my screens is that, the collateral damages in the entire European nation, because obviously this benefits the US dollar, and everyone's gonna go to a flight to safety move from a currency standpoint
Mm.
towards the USA. I know nothing about like the war or geopolitics, and this is not to make light of the scenario, but what I've been seeing is that the market is relatively calm as of Monday. So I think like what happened was during, of course, Thursday, which was the Russia blasting Odessa. And you would have thought that Russia doing that would cause the entire market to get crippled. The
Hmm.
exact opposite happened. Yes, the futures were down massively last Thursday. It was like down 3%. But overnight, it reversed unchanged, and then even went up on Thursday, and it also went up on Friday.
Yeah.
And now on Monday, I know some traders are already thinking, well, is this rally gonna be another squeeze? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are bearish with those kind of movements, and yet they're wondering, hey, why did the market squeeze 1,000 points from the Nasdaq futures low of 13,000? Nowadays, it's trading at 14,000,
I think
and
when
you've got the Russian index was up 40%
mhm.
from last Thursday's low.
I
Yeah,
think
go
when you
ahead.
I think when you look at it, the big thing, and I think the critical thing was is that NATO says we're not going to get involved with this Ukraine thing,
Hmm.
and so that kind of I think if you would have heard the words like, "Hey, we're getting in this," like we're coming, like you would have seen a flush, a really,
Ah, all right.
you
So
know,
it was really the NATO not
yeah,
going into
the
war.
war is not going to expand outside of
Hmm.
Ukraine,
It's just gonna be limited to
yeah,
Ukraine and Russia.
yeah.
And is this gonna cripple the economy of Russia? Because everyone's saying, but China is gonna support Russia anyway. So what's the U.S. sanction for? It's not as if like it will really cripple the economy of Russia.
You know,
I mean, for me, the people of Russia are not condoning what their leaders are doing. So you couldn't really leave. I mean, if you sanction the entire country, that's as if you're also killing all the innocents of Russia who didn't also want this to take place, right?
yeah. And so and when you look at Russia, like you have to look at Vladimir Putin and then just go down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I look at Russia, I see a person who has been holding on to power, who's very smart, very savvy, and does everything that needs to be done to hold on to power. But he's a different generation. Like, I don't think there's this generation of Russians now who identify
Who's imperialistic,
it.
who needs
You
to
know,
invade
that's
nations,
Soviet. Like
Soviet
those
Union.
guys are old and they want to go enjoy their vodka and they want to go do their thing. And so you have this. I don't think Putin really like understands like this younger generation of people is not, except for the ones that are in the military. Yeah, they'll go
So
along with.
the Russians in general have moved on. It's just that their leaders currently are so old to remember the history books,
Yeah,
and they feel as if they need to conquer what's theirs.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, in some
So
ways.
and I I think, when I look at Putin, I kind of look at him as like Donald Trump a little bit. You
Hmm.
just get so up there, you surround yourself with people who just tell you what you want to hear all the time.
And they're
And
extremely
think
biased.
and you think that you can do things that are irrational, you know? Like like you can't just walk into a European country, Like you can't just do that these days. Like you can't just pretend like like you got something that isn't yours. Like you can't do that nowadays because everybody sees it. You know, it's not like it takes a week or two for everybody to realize what's going on. Like it's right away. So to me, it's a clear underestimation. I think the big winners, believe it or not, in all of it
Hmm.
is China. I think China comes out great. Um,
Why would China turn out great with all these geopolitical events?
China can remain still and one of the biggest producers, manufacturers of everything in the world. They come out as the non-aggressors in this situation, barring that they decide to, do whatever with Taiwan in between then. But up to this point, they have not been aggressive, like at all, right? So I'm just going to assume that China, they're maybe 10, 20 years from now, Taiwan is like their thing. But so they're the ones that if they just sit back and play it cool, like there's going to be people that want to deal with you. They want to do business with you because you're not acting a fool, you know.
So
And
just by the fact that China didn't well, wouldn't the fact that China didn't veto out what Russia did already be an admission that China also supported what happened?
you could say whatever you want, but your actions speak a thousand words, right? So
Mhm.
you really have to look at what people do, and I think that's what stays with people is like, hey, China may, yeah, and I think the thing everybody's sitting back and looking at, like, hey, are they like, what are they doing here? Are they going to take this moment to do something? And they're not. They're not so far. You never know. That could change. 100%. It could change. But if I'm, I just put myself in the shoes of leaders, and if my clear objective is to be like, yeah, I want to unify all of this, or if I want to expand, my best bet is to just wait and let these people, let these people, expose their weaknesses and take advantage of whatever they can. Because this is not as much as like Russia and China, they seem like this great fit. I don't think they are. Geographically, they're very close, right? So they're already competing for resources and how to expand those resources out to other places. So in my opinion, I think I think China's playing it cool, and I think they're playing it smart. And yeah,
Well, so far the markets are still massively down from a week ago, a few months ago, which means that there are some opportunities that are lying in the markets nowadays. We're talking about like 70, 80% discounts on some stocks, sometimes 90%. Are there some interesting companies that you are looking to pick up in this war torn world? Is
yeah,
there like something that you've acted upon on the long side?
yeah. So I'll tell you, like a week or two ago, I think, and I discussed it as well. I was looking
Mhm.
at Lockheed Martin. Um,
So you want some defense
yeah,
industries. Yeah, 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 I remember you were saying to look at them.
I mean it's an ethical thing. I don't feel good about it, but You know,
Yeah.
if I've been blessed with the insight of seeing things before they happen, then whatever. But I do think that there's an interesting dynamic brewing in terms of energy and how we consume energy. This could really, really, really change the landscape of how we consume energy. This could be a tremendous, tremendous catalyst to renewable forms of energy in terms of
So nuclear, like
everybody's
kamikaze.
looking at Russia. All right, we got all this, we got all this oil and gas. A
Uh,
lot of stuff coming from Russia. So I think this puts even. We had already kind of been shifting into that, but when you look at, I think it makes a very good argument that renewable energy could really be like a place to be in the coming, even just, I was thinking like more long term, but even just short term, there could be like a lot of stuff be like, yeah, we need to like be more self-sufficient and just have things that, so if these geopolitical events happen, they don't affect us because we're generating
yeah,
our own energy here.
you're right. Actually, I took a look at everything that you said. The markets are confirming that you're right. Number one, all of the defense industries are going up. Lockheed Martin went what? An uptrend with a
Yeah,
breakout.
yeah,
This is like 409 as of last Friday,
yeah,
and it's likely to turn higher further to
yeah,
440 or even further. And
yeah,
as for like nuclear energy, I know you've been pounding the table very, very long time ago on Kamiko J and all these uranium.
yeah,
And look at that gap up on the earnings of Kamiko J, another retest on the 20 and then going 23. You're right about these trends. The market and the world is fed up with all these oil spikes, and they want to invest in renewable energy, just like what Tesla said. I mean, the world wants you to go electric, so electric or nuclear. So look at CCJ, guys. CCJ is trading 20 to 23. The market has already confirmed that any dips of CCJ are buy on dips. Look at uranium ETF. I know that you've been buying a lot of uranium, and well,
mhm.
the market is agreeing with you. The earnings were not amiss. Almost everyone's really betting on uranium.
I'm
Yeah.
irresponsible. I'm irresponsibly long on uranium. I really am.
Did you go long on the ETF or did you pick
No,
a certain company?
so I'm probably most overweight in Quad U. It's
Ah, the
UUU,
U. Yeah, 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 the energy fuels. Yeah, this one.
American produced, all over, just continental US, pretty much.
Mhm.
So when you get exposure like to Cameco and some of those other ones, you have a lot of
Yeah.
exposure overseas as well.
So you want to go just US. So that's U.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But Cameco long, and URG. I still have a pretty good bag there.
URG, UEC, right?
URG, yeah, that's more of a penny.
Yeah. Yeah, the penny stock was the UEC.
I have it. I have
I'll
an
take a
even
look at
smaller
them.
stock. So it's
What? What
I
stock?
have another one. It's OTC though, but I
Uh,
think it can go. I think it can go. Is FCUUF.
FCUUF. Let me see
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. I got it like last month,
Asian uranium. Okay.
something like that.
Australia is the one winning on this war, no? Because commodities have gone way up.
Yeah,
Every time there's a war, the winner, well, when you said it was China that wins, to me, it's Australia that wins. Because, like,
yeah,
BHP Billiton is the largest when it comes to
yeah,
all these oil groups.
yeah.
It, other than Australia, which are the largest oil nations in the world? Is it
Mm.
is it like is Middle East winning on this
Oh yeah, yeah. Middle East by far, but
by
but
far?
China produces a lot of oil.
China, yeah. So basically, all the oil producing countries have been winning on this war, whether they wanted it or not. Look at all these energy names: Exxon Mobil. I mean, I know everyone's already been harping on $100 oil, but are you of the view that we're really gonna have sky high inflation because
So
of all these
so
global geopolitical events?
I will tell you, I actually went short on oil on Friday. I feel like
It
it was
was already
feel like it
overtraded,
was the
right? Overplayed.
feel like it might not have been the best decision, but I'm just trading the charts. Like if I look at the geopolitical situation, 100% I would be long. But I'm
Mhm.
like looking at it, and it's just like I don't know. I looked at one chart after another, XLE,
Mhm.
you see it,
Yeah.
and they just all
Mhm.
look like they're hitting resistance to me, and they bounced off of it. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but
Yeah. Well, I think like from a trading standpoint, it's just that the majority of the people, it has been an overcrowded long. Unlike your uranium, which is renewable energies like uranium and solar, has just started to be appreciated more by people, that if they don't invest on all these solar and nuclear, every time there's a war, we ended up having inflation because of all these leaders who want to have a shortage crisis. I
mhm.
mean, one of the reasons why inflation is sky high over in the US and the world, I mean, I saw agriculture, right? Agriculture stocks, what could you say? Like wheat hitting all time highs, all of these nutrients like
Yeah,
Mosaic Company and CF Industries just went. Well, let me share to people who aren't looking at agri commodities. One of the reasons why we are getting all these
audit
spikes in
for
inflation is because we just have no food, right? Look at this. Mosaic Company hitting all-time highs, CF Industries hitting all-time highs. So commodities as a whole, whether it be um, for food or whether it be for just transportation, have been tearing up. And part of me thinks that this is the solution. Uh, the world doesn't want inflation, but if it has to think that we will go past and go over this entire war because NATO didn't go to war with the US and everyone. I mean, is the US gonna really be straight in war? Is Biden
well,
gonna be
they've been,
serious on it?
they've been engaged in a war for like the past 10 years. It's just been over the internet. You know,
Mm.
so there's a war going on. It's been going on, and I think they're just trying to keep it that way. You know,
So they'll always fight and it will never end, right? But the market seems to look past it already. I agree with you that the charts are saying that oil is topping out. It might not top
good.
at
Good.
$100 per se,
Makes me
but it's
feel.
gonna top out at
I
some
might
point.
actually sleep tonight.
Huh?
I might sleep tonight
You'll sleep tonight, why?
because you said the oil might. It looks like you agree that it looks toppy.
Ah, I agree
Because
because
I wasn't feeling good about it on Friday, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna like they're just all
because
I don't know.
the fear trade has been going long oil and gold all at the same time.
Mhm.
But last Thursday, we've seen the markets shut off all the bearish sentiment. And in fact, what is happening is the reverse. I would have thought that last Thursday, the entire markets would have collapsed. But what I'm seeing is actually a calm market. It's calm in the sense that they know that the aggressors are there. They
Mhm.
know that the war is never going to end. But
Yeah.
at the same time, look what just happened last Friday. The market pushed Square, the market pushed
Yeah.
cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
And even if people say, well, today crypto is like probably getting some profit taking, it's like 37,000 Bitcoin. If you really thought that the war is going to take the entire market down, you would have been seeing crypto now at $30,000 Bitcoin or even worse,
Yeah.
where we wouldn't know what support there is. But
Yeah.
nowadays, what happened last Thursday was, just from a chart perspective, January 28 was the low, and February 24, the worst part of war, wherein you would have thought the world will go into World War III, which didn't transpire, became the retest. Either it was a higher low or it was really dependent on earnings.
Yeah.
I mean, last week we've seen companies like Palo Alto Networks almost trade at all-time highs. Look at these charts. I'm gonna share to people. I know nothing about I know nothing about geopolitics, but I'm gonna show to you some charts that tells you that
Yeah.
being bearish is wrong. Look at this. Palo Alto climbed
Especially
from
cyber
$470 to
security.
570.
You don't want to be bearish cybersecurity right now.
You don't want to be. Yeah, agree. Because like the
No.
world seems to be. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I think I'm wrong. Because initially I was thinking all these cybersecurity stocks are are getting downtrend, you're right. In this type of market, you do have to go bullish on cybersecurity. All these downtrends could reverse up. Half could go up. I'm wrong with it. Okay. That said, I'm very fast in covering, so I'm currently long actually. So I'd go long tonight. I'll listen to point of views that if the market's gonna invest strongly on cybersecurity, then that means your Fortinet, Palo Alto Networks, your CrowdStrike, or your Sentinel One,
Hmm.
these are reversing to the upside. Any dips would be a buy.
Yeah.
Renewable energy is a buy. All right, so let's just write down everything. So renewable, renewables all climbed overnight. Cybersecurity stocks climbed up overnight.
Yeah.
Gold is actually a sell. I shorted gold
Yeah.
through a bearish spread. Look at what happened to gold. This is a clear bearish engulfing last
The
Thursday and
cool
Friday.
the cool thing is like oil and gold. You better run. You better run.
Yeah, it seems to be a sell on gold. And right now, oil is starting to also go down.
Yeah.
And actually, that means that the Fed problems of inflation will be saved by the fact that the world will just sell gold and oil.
I wish. So
They'll
if
do the
Jeff was,
reverse.
he could break down like when the
Peak
numbers are
oil.
coming out. I think we're
Go.
getting usually early in the month we start getting inflation numbers here in the States. Um,
Mhm.
so I would have to look at the dates for that. But if we're getting CPI and PPI numbers, and they come in cooler, um, that could really be like and we have like war stuff going on that could really cause like a not I want to say like a full pivot by the Fed, but they could be like, oh yeah, we're only going to raise by like 25 basis points or
The markets have already been rallying last Friday
something.
because they felt that number one, the Fed is not gonna be as hard or as aggressive
Yeah,
if oil is gonna calm
that's
down.
probably
I've
the
been hearing people say 25 basis points rather than 50 basis points,
yeah.
and that could just shoot up the market. And it has nothing to do with short covering. You're right. Last Thursday and Friday was pivotal. It was such a change in sentiment. Charts would all show it.
Yeah.
Every chart I saw which had to explode to the downside did not. And as a trader, you look at it, hey, if something had to happen and it didn't, the reverse have to be done. It's actually gonna be a very bullish move this Monday, Tuesday. I don't know if it's gonna be an entire week wherein we just completely reverse. I mean, look at the people who got killed shorting Palo Alto Networks. You're right. Cybersecurity names are getting bought up.
This
A
thing, this
30%
so
move on Sun Run.
this thing
Go.
it has to go a direction because it's been volatile for like a long time, and you don't
Hmm.
see volatility just like last like this long like this. So it just needs to go one way or another and just calm it down for a little bit. I just can't see it like a year of like insane volatility. No, that's not happening. Maybe like a couple months. So it
Yeah,
feels
we can't
feels
like
like we're
go
due. It
every
feels
day
for
talking about war. Agree.
Yeah, it feels like we're due for a direction. Go in one direction or the whether I think it. I'm on the side of we're probably closer to a melt up than we are of like a further meltdown. But
Mm, yeah, we're right. I mean, we're on the same side here. The charts are already beginning to reverse on the upside. People are asking me, hey, is that the real low? Is that the bottom?
hmm
And my reply was, it depends on the earnings. Because last Friday, we already got reward. We already saw how bad Coinbase earnings were. So there will be companies that would fall nonetheless.
hmm
But take a look at Airbnb. Airbnb just reported the best quarters in history, and we're really going away from the pandemic. The pandemic's over. Look at what happened to Pfizer, to Novavax, to Moderna. All of the vaccines know that their best days are done.
yeah,
The next few months are just gonna be as weak as what happened to the slower. I mean, nobody's gonna get vaccine shots every now and then. It's a one time thing.
yeah,
I don't know. You know these better.
yeah, yeah. I'm I'm done with the vaccine debate. I'm
Done, right?
good. I'm good for a long time, a long time. What
Yeah.
so what do you think of Coinbase? In terms of like you've looked at it as a company, do you
As
think
a company, I felt that cryptocurrencies as a whole are great, but it doesn't mean that Coinbase has to trade at $100 billion valuation.
hmm
So it was really more of a valuation thing that's affecting Coinbase.
yeah.
And the truth of the matter is that most of the cryptocurrencies are accepted already as mainstream. So how much more can Coinbase grow and how more innovative can it be if I could just buy cryptocurrencies in any brokerage firm? I mean, I could go to Robinhood and buy it. There
So
are
when I
ETFs.
when I look at Coinbase, like the big thing that really sticks out to me is that they have a very, very, very good posture with institutional investors
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like, how banks and
Custodian fees,
like
agree.
of them, like Michael Saylor buys his Bitcoin through Coinbase.
Coinbase. All right.
Um,
So,
so this is like, so for me, if you're really like, if you zoom out and you look at it, all right, if the blockchain is like the new internet and how businesses operate online, if that's
mhm.
like Web 3.0, and so every medium of exchange is going to be, it's going to be through.
Oh, you got lost. Okay, while he got cut off, I'll explain the things that we've discussed. So let me share to you the charts of oh wait, Doc is coming back.
Did
Hi, hi,
you lose
hi.
me?
You're
Did you
back.
lose me? I
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
I was
We
right
lost you
there.
for
I
a
was
few
right
seconds.
there.
Go start again with Coinbase. Yeah, Coinbase is good with institutions.
Hold on. It has to like figure out where I am. Okay.
It was
So
Coinbase against JP Morgan. I think
yeah.
we were there.
So if you're looking at like if the blockchain is basically like the internet, but we
Mm-hmm,
figured out a way of tokenizing every interaction like I'm having with you right now. We
mm-hmm,
figured out a way to tokenize all of that, all of it, you know,
mm-hmm,
um, versus like StreamYard or Zoom or whoever
mm-hmm.
getting that money. Like we figured that out. Um, so if you feel like the whole economy is going to be based on the blockchain, which is what I kind of feel and what I understand,
Mm-hmm.
then I think Coinbase is at the forefront because they're already institutionalized. And so I think Coinbase is going to be the first uh, uh, exchange that's going to be traded on the S&P 500. I think it's just going to be like you're going to be talking about FANG, and Coinbase is probably going to be up there with it. Uh,
Wow, that's
yeah,
a
yeah.
tremendous conviction. Okay, that's amazing.
And it's kind of
I
like
never thought
like
people would say that
if
Coinbase
everybody
would
has
be
to
a
have
scam.
Netflix because like the best and the easiest way to see the best things is through Netflix, then everybody's going to have it. And I think everybody's going to they're going to they're going to have digital assets to trade.
I bought a lot of Google last Thursday. It was my best FANG name because I think like well in these recent sell-offs, what I've been doing is I took a look at the markets and consider me uh just a normal person, but amongst all the FANGs, when you said that people are watching Netflix, yes, that's true, but people are also watching a ton of YouTube. I get my information on YouTube all the time because how else can I hear from the intelligent content nowadays is also on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're looking for finance shows, you're looking for people who know options or people who understand geopolitics. What you're seeing on YouTube is really it's not content creator. It's really just looking for, hey, I don't want to go to YouTube just for entertainment and I don't want to be sucked up on all these mass media, so they just go through people. And because you're in tech, so it's really going to be positive for TikTok, for YouTube. It's really the death of Facebook though, unless Facebook Reels is going to really be able to compete against TikTok. But I don't know. That is up for debate. That's why for me, it was easy for me to just buy Google because it was already showing strength.
Mm-hmm.
But last Friday, I also saw some people. They are always. I'm not sure if they're right, but a lot of value people are saying you are wrong for dismissing Facebook, which is trading at $190 last Thursday.
Hmm.
I know from a technical perspective, Facebook is really down, but is it something that was wrongly treated by the market, or do you think like the market has valid reasons to doubt the dominance of Facebook as a media house? Because I
So,
personally don't look at Facebook anymore.
so it's so hard for me because Facebook, like I've just had like personal relationships and stuff like that. Like people will get mad at you if you don't like something on
Mm,
that they posted.
yeah,
Like they're mad at you.
agree.
Like what?
Especially when it comes to
Like it,
politics,
for
right?
me. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
I've just had so many personal interactions that I just see, that I don't. I can't do it. I can't do it. I've traded Facebook once. I looked at it. Technically, I can do it, but usually I don't even look at it. I don't look at it.
No,
I think I
yes.
traded. I think I traded it like a year ago because I could see, technically there was a nice bounce coming,
Mm-hmm.
but from like a company, like, and the way I put my money to work is I put 90% of my money to work in companies that I really believe in, really believe,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. I'm fine. I'll sit on it because I know it's going to 10x later. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, and luckily I have a job and stuff like that I do that I don't have to live off of trading.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a different situation, but for me, Facebook is I don't know. I just can't do it. I can't do it.
I'm glad that you are a bull on Coinbase because I'm a bear in Coinbase. It helps me think, okay, so I have to be very careful in shorting a Coinbase because there always exists people like you who thinks
Hmm.
that Coinbase is going to disrupt the entire blockchain. And I may be just lacking knowledge on it. So at the very least, I
You
know
know,
how to back away from it in
when
case I wanted to initiate a short
Coinbase
on it.
was like $350, I would be like, go for it, go for it. I would
But
not
at 200 below, it's
not
probably priced in. All the negatives might be
do it.
have priced in.
Yeah, yeah. I think
I
there's a.
think like right now, what we should discuss is what we are both willing to go long upon. Because
Mhm,
anyway, the markets have already tanked too much. I have the agreement that I know it's a little bit sentiment.
mhm,
It's sentiment driven, but the markets have tanked on external fears and
mhm,
on these rate hikes, which may not transpire as worse as people believe in.
mhm.
So, okay, I agree with you. Let's go long renewable energies. Go long. When you say renewable, I just have to share to everyone the charts because yes, that's uranium. Does it mean though that the large caps like Tesla is that the bottom? I think so. Actually, last Friday that was it. Last Thursday and Friday was the bottom for Tesla.
It's so.
Let's talk about like the big caps. Do you still trade the big caps, or because there's just tons of values in the small caps that you don't look at these? Obviously, Tesla was already. This is a divergence. Okay, so
Man,
Chan
Tesla,
24,
Tesla, I'm looking to add more. Like if it goes like in the 500s, to be honest,
500s. Yeah,
500s for me.
there's still resistance here at
Yeah.
860 and 880. Yeah, could go there
Till
actually.
then, like that
Until then, let's just see
that
where this goes.
yeah, that looks like Mount Vesuvius getting ready to like destroy the city of Pompeii.
Hmm. The large caps. Are you looking at any of the earnings that really got hit? Shopify fell 30% after earnings.
Mm.
I'm looking to go long.
On shop.
Actually, it's not looking. I'm long shop. I'm long Shopify.
And, I feel like and maybe I'm wrong in this, but I feel like I miss shop.
You
Um,
missed
and
the big
like
run.
I've been adding to another one called global e-commerce. Uh,
GLBE.
yeah.
GLBE did well, right? I
So I
think it
just
was
been
up
going,
after hours.
I just been
Yeah.
piling into that, and I'll do that for a couple years if I have to.
Hmm.
We'll see what happens.
This one,
I,
this
I
one
did
looks
like
okay.
cursory research, and I like the company. I like what they're doing in terms of like cross-border payments, and they work with Shopify as well. But they just like they could potentially have like like a moat in terms of like being like the giant for like cross-border e-commerce payments.
Based on just looking at the markets nowadays, the ones that really popped out very strongly was Upstart. Upstart, a lot of earnings. Really, last week was really an earnings week. Palantir was getting bought like crazy.
Mhm.
I actually think like Palantir
Yeah.
had been bottoming out last Friday,
So
Thursday and
so
Friday. It was
Palantir,
bottoming out.
Palantir, I will tell you right now,
Mm-hmm.
this is manipulation, 100% manipulation. There are people loading their bags, loading them
Here at these levels,
under
9 to
the
11.
under the DPO price. Are you kidding me? They're loading their bags. They're loading them.
The direct pricing before was 9.5, right?
Yeah, it was like $10. I remember.
Yeah, it was
And then it went
9.5.
down to 7, like after a month, and that's when I really pounded. I was like, I'm
No,
going
it
in.
only
I'm
fell
going
to
in on
9. That was it. That 9 was the low. So I
Palantir.
think
Went
like Palantir
Palantir
is
went to
the
like almost
crazy
$40,
opportunity,
and I
right?
never sold.
Yeah,
I never sold a
you
share.
never sold.
I've
Oh
never
my
sold a
gosh.
share. I yeah, no,
It's
it's
fine, it's fine. Palantir, I agree with you. The three things that really popped up on my screens as a massive major screaming buy was Palantir, Upstart,
mhm,
and this is just charts. Just charts. I mean, you know, I know that they had good earnings, but what's the difference of owning an Upstart, which is up 30% versus, say, other stocks? You can only see it when people
mhm,
have so huge of a demand
mhm,
that they don't really care paying 20, 30% higher. And I've clearly seen it from the demand shown on Upstart and Palantir. Upstart,
mhm.
I have to think why people are so much in demand on it. Yes, I know it's
Don't
an
understand.
AI.
I don't
It's
understand that
AI, right? It's
at
just
all.
artificial intelligence helping banks.
I
Supposedly
get.
all the banks.
So the only thing I understand about Upstart is I get junk mail. I get
Mm.
a lot of Upstart. I get a lot of Upstart in my junk mail, and they're always offering me credit on this. Fix your, do this, do that. We're gonna send you money, and you just pay us back a interest payment, and that's it. That's all I know.
Do you think that Palantir has higher upside versus Coinbase? Because I feel as if
Mm,
isn't it that Palantir today controls a lot of SPACs? So if all of these companies end up making a lot of money, and because Palantir has hundreds of millions of dollars
hmm
staked in each of them via venture capital, Palantir, what
So
it's 30 billion now? Is it? It's
so
less than 30 now. Let me see.
so this is just conjecture for me. Like
Mm-hmm.
all of Palantir, I don't have personal knowledge
23. It's
or
just
anything
23
like that.
billion.
But Palantir, as far as I know, and these are some people that I know that they're like some of the smartest people that I've ever met, and they go to work for Palantir. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and what they're doing is next level. Like it's stuff that we don't really comprehend.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it, and they've announced it already, is that they're going to be working with crypto mining and blockchain communities to make sure those are secure. So I think Palantir, a lot of what they do is based on blockchain and why they're so successful, um, and why they, are. So I think if you're bullish on crypto, you're bullish on artificial intelligence. Yeah, yeah, Palantir is
Palantir is the
it's a no
Tesla
brainer.
of this
So as long
industry.
as you understand it from that fundamental standpoint, then for me, there's no problem. I don't care. I don't. It goes to $1. I'm just buying it.
One mistake that Kathy Wood really did this year was to get out of Palantir. She's wrong on that. And
It's
we
good for
disagree with her
good for
selling
us
it.
though. So we don't have to get
It's
punished
good for
with
us.
her. We don't get punished with her.
Yeah. It's good actually. We just have to own Palantir ourselves. Just buy
Yeah,
it in our
yeah,
own
yeah,
portfolios.
yeah.
No problem. Chart wise, technicals and fundamentals all
It's like
agree. Like go all in Palantir.
if you were
Well,
Noah,
not all in, but just buy some.
if you were Noah and you was on Noah's Ark, how many animals are gone? Because Noah was just like, no, that's an annoying animal. We're gonna get rid of it. Kathy would be off my ark. I'm just kicking her off.
Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
What's
It's a,
left in her top picks now? Was
Uh,
there anything that she kept that was right?
yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Anyway, it doesn't
So
matter. What she's doing in her
everything is
portfolio
being
has
down.
nothing
The
has nothing
last
to
the
do with
last
us.
shoe to drop for her is Tesla. Now Tesla's gonna go down, and yeah. But Square, you never
At
know.
least her Square did well.
Hmm.
I haven't read the earnings, but I knew it was up 30%, so that's a
So
good thing.
I don't know the financials of how she does everything, but I know enough to know that they didn't just open up two new funds for nothing, right? They were moving money. Let's move money into here. Let's move money into there. So they were de-risking by opening up that space fund. What was the other one? Like
Well, their current genomics fund, what happened to their genomics fund, by the way? ARC-G.
but the
Oh, well,
space.
it bounced. It
So
bounced
they have the
already.
space fund, and then what was the other one?
They have the fintech fund, the 3D printing fund,
Those
the
were already.
genomic fund,
They opened up two recently.
ARC-K, ARC-X, ARC-G, ARC-F, ARC-W. What's
There's
ARC-W
there's
again?
there's another one that it doesn't even have arc in it, you know.
Really?
And I
Yeah.
think this is a way for them to just move money to, like it's a business maneuver to try to de-risk.
Well, most people really are passive. So I think
Yeah.
what happened with people is that, I mean, what's going to happen this earnings week is going to just kill a lot of so-called pandemic favorites, right? It's over. It's
Who's
finished.
reporting? I haven't looked at the calendar. Who's reporting?
I think this week we'll get reports from Zoom Video,
Oh,
March 1.
okay.
We'll get a report this week on C Limited. Wait, let
Ooh,
me see. I haven't checked, but I'm
that's been
actually a
bouncing
buyer of
hard.
C Limited this
See,
week.
limited's been bouncing hard.
Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't want like a company that's already ahead of everyone else?
Yeah.
Speaking of, let's go through the earnings this week. Wait up, huh? Let's just see it. Wait up. Let's give her a jab for this week's earnings reports. So we've got Zoom Video on Monday. I'm bullish on Zoom, but I don't own it. If it goes down hard this Monday, I'm a buyer. You've got Berkshire Hathaway, so obviously Berkshire is gonna be
Yeah.
getting a
Baidu,
good
SoFi,
earnings.
BioNano,
Limited, Zoom, Domino's Pizza, Target.
Coupang.
Baidu would be shorted this week if it rallied. I think like people would short Baidu because it has a real problem on their current businesses. Like all their digital advertising has already gone towards TikTok, all of the so basically mobile, right? Because Baidu's web based, and it's still having a lot of difficult problems there. Mm, this week, I think you have a chance to buy C Limited and
Can you hear
Zoom.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hey, your favorite company, Coupang, is going to report this number this
Mm,
Wednesday. Victoria's Secret, there you go, Wednesday. VSCO, I think, is going to have a better earnings quarter this week.
sorry, it's just breaking up a
Can you
little bit.
hear? Mm,
Yeah, no, the couple. Yeah, a lot of
no
this
worries.
is a big. This is a big
Earnings.
week for earnings in
Yeah,
terms of
you've
like,
got Zoom, T Limited, you've got Berkshire,
yeah.
you've got Domino's Pizza. It has to do with inflation, so it's
Hmm.
probably going to be shorted, but we'll see. Depends on how well they can traverse it. Um,
So I know
Dutch
SoFi.
Brothers.
SoFi, I'm
SoFi
I'm a
should be a
big. I'm a
buyer. Yeah,
fan. I'm a fan.
SoFi. So bullish on Zoom, SoFi. SoFi, Zoom, C Limited. A little bit bearish on Domino's Pizza, or a bit neutral on it. Neutral on Berkshire. People would buy Snowflake, I think. If they
Um,
haven't, let's see. Where's Snowflake now? Is it 250? Snowflake. Unless Snowflake really has a bad job this week, no? Because this is an expensive company. I'll stay neutral on Snowflake, but I'll watch it.
I don't
It will
understand.
dissipate.
I really don't understand Snowflake, so I don't have any opinion about it. I really.
I wouldn't. I'll just put it on neutral. Zero opinion. Mm, Where would Victoria's Secret
Bullish.
nga.
I'm bullish. Bullish
Bullish on VS.
Victoria's Secret.
Bullish, me too. Bullish on VSCO. I'll buy
All
that
in.
on dip.
All in on Victoria's Secret.
They're doing well. I think like it's a very cheap company for what they're doing nowadays. So it's I don't know if it will gap up on earnings though. But if on earnings day they have a good number, the market will actually price it up. I'm just not. You could do a strangle on the upside. Bullish spread for Victoria's Secret. Bullish
Yeah.
spread.
Yeah.
I'll do a bullish spread on it. Wait up. Mm, I'm not bullish on any Chinese name. I think they'll be shorted. Bearish on Baidu, bearish on Bilibili, but I won't short them. By the way, I'm just bearish. Um,
I hear a lot of people talk about Wish a lot. I don't know much about it.
it's a meme. It's a meme stock. I'm
Hmm.
bearish on it. I wouldn't do anything about it. Like in general, we've seen memes fall already. Look at that, 32 to 2. I don't know. I guess it goes to 1.
So if memes go bull, or so when memes are going off, is that bullish or bearish?
I think when memes are going down, it's a sign that the market has already killed the froth.
Hmm.
And it's a win for the general public because that means that we're gonna focus on earnings, not on memes.
Okay.
Actually, to me, if Duac fell, wait, is Duac falling or is it still going up? The truth,
Yeah. No, I don't know.
the truth. No, it's still up.
That's my only source of news is uh
The truth,
is the truth.
the truth by Donald Trump. So, I mean, isn't it just a Trump broadcasting area,
Yeah, it's a Trump money making scheme, is what it is.
whatever it is? All right.
Yeah, yeah. It's basically let me see how much money I can raise here versus from people's pockets.
He's successful though. I mean, the
Yeah,
only fact that went from $10 to $90, 9x
yeah.
in how many months is it?
Who else do you think if what
Nobody else.
so what if like Bill Gates did a SPAC?
People would buy it. But Bill Gates is not the kind of person who will pump it.
Yeah.
So it will
Elon,
go up like 15
if
and
Elon
then it
if Elon did a SPAC, holy shit.
if Elon Musk did a SPAC, the market will buy it.
100
But
billion.
right now, Elon is getting SEC allegations, right? Because
Yeah.
Kimball Musk supposedly sold his shares before the
Like,
Twitter poll or something.
because his fucking stock went up like 100x. Oh my god, he sold.
The only reason people bought the Trump SPAC was because they felt that Trump was going to push it. And I don't think that Bill Gates is the kind of person who will push stocks. I
Yeah.
mean, look at it. You can buy Bill Gates investments today without having to pay the price. Bill Gates invested in Beyond Meat. Bill Gates invested in what's this? QuantumScape.
Yeah.
He bought a lot of
You,
SPACs.
you know what happened
But
with the Trump stocks and stuff like that? So if you think about like Peter Thiel and
mhm,
people like a lot of people who have a lot of money,
celebrity.
like some of these David Sachs and all these other
Yeah.
like big GOP guys,
Yeah.
like it's a payoff. It's a payoff. And you can transfer money by just pumping up somebody's stock and then they can cash out. And it's like you have no connection to anything. Like it's never
Nothing.
like you never transferred anything to them personally. You just pumped up their stock so they can cash out.
I don't know what's gonna happen to all the SPACs in general, to be honest. When people ask, hey, is it still gonna go up? I think like it will take them 5 years or 10 years. It's like the real NASDAQ bubble did happen to the SPACs. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I'm having a hard time thinking on whether ChargePoint, which is reporting numbers this week, if it's really gonna be supposed to go to $5 or $3. I mean, look, amongst all these facts, maybe 5% of them are real companies, 95% are innovative, will never make money, but is still essential. Because, like, even if ChargePoint doesn't make money, Do you really think that the market really cares? Because like it took 20 years for Amazon to make money and the market never really cared.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at some point, we do have to build all these charging infrastructure.
I have a hard time believing in like some of the companies. Like, yeah, there may be one that comes along, and ChargePoint may be the one, but it's just so like because if
For
Exxon
me, it's a
or
moonshot. Yeah,
if
it's a
one of them
moonshot.
decided one day we're just going to turn everything into an electric charging, like you're like those guys are gone. You know.
Well, Exxon and BP,
Mm,
British Petroleum, they've all partnered with all these innovative companies, which means that they are going to change their entire business model to charging stations as well.
mm,
The only question is it too late for them or is it too early for the upstarts? Like, that's the only thing. Because, example, um, the blockchain in itself is something that the banks can incorporate, but the blockchain companies are already hiring all the best that the banks are eventually either going to have to adopt it or hire people
no.
who know the engineering prowess. And most of these engineers don't want to work for a JP Morgan.
The
So that's the problem. Like if the best companies, if the best engineers want to solve the problem with Tesla, it doesn't matter if ExxonMobil can change it or Volkswagen want it. It's the same thing happening right now with the cars, right? Ford and GM have been buying all these innovation, but
mm,
people said Tesla's already ahead. So what's the point?
yeah,
Ford can't beat them.
yeah.
So I think like that's gonna happen with charging infrastructures. Because in ExxonMobil, you have a boss, right? And you don't want to be an employee. You'd rather work for ChargePoint and be the head engineer of this small company
Yeah.
rather than be some peon. You're just a small rook
I guess
on this chessboard of Exxon and Chevron.
the thing that's difficult for me in terms of like the charging infrastructure is you need real estate and who owns
You,
it.
the big ones. Yeah. So that's the problem. Because this is
Like
like going against Walmart.
something
You're
new.
like Amazon had to build all these warehouses
Hmm.
and you aren't Amazon. So Walmart was easy. It's kind of the same thing with Disney and Netflix. Nowadays, we're seeing Disney do the fastest subscription addition. By the way, I'm bullish Disney. Um, Disney's doing what Netflix had to do for like 15 years. Was it 15? It took it took Netflix 2013 to 2022. So that's like 9-10 years to
Hmm.
amass 250 million subscribers.
Yeah.
It's gonna take Disney what, 4 years,
No.
5 years?
And
How long?
by the way, their CEO bought like it was a couple $100 million. It was a
Of Disney?
no of
Of Shatek?
Netflix. Netflix. That's what I was thinking.
Ted
Yeah.
Sarandos.
Yeah. And Bill Ackman, he went in hard
He
as
went in big.
yeah.
Actually, my dad was asking me about Netflix, and I told my dad, look, the world is already all in to this in-house streaming thing.
Mm,
So for just $12 a month or $10, or even if they raise it to $15, I would not unsubscribe from Netflix.
yeah.
So to me, it is a big buying opportunity. I agree with you. Among these sell-offs, we gotta go long some Netflix here.
Mm,
You're right. We gotta go long some Netflix. Um, the market is wrong in just looking at the 2 million subscription. What they're not looking at is how much the international is gonna stay with Netflix and Disney, by the way. So we have to go along all these I know connected TV. So basically, we're bullish on connected TV.
oh
Look
yeah.
at this, the trade desk.
100%.
So Solimar just did a lot of connected TV moves, right? Solimar was all about helping all these streaming giants make money off of advertising. Not necessarily the Netflix of the world, but I think it's like the cheaper one. So wait, are we going to say that we're bullish on the trade desk? We're bullish on Roku. This is a bull, right? Roku is a bull. It's gonna reverse upward. Hmm. Well, it had a good number.
Mm.
Nene. People were buying up the drop. Okay, sige. We will be bullish on renewables, cybersecurity, connected TV, streaming. With Netflix, Disney, Roku, the trade desk.
Yeah.
Basically, digital advertising. The trade desk has to be on digital
Yeah.
advertising. So Google and the trade desk.
And
Equal and peak gold so short.
I'm the worst with this,
Or,
and it's a sentimental thing for me, but
it's
I
okay. I'll be the one timing it
NT
for
for
you. I'll
HBO.
time it for you. You
You
know,
know, I was
HBO
gonna.
Max. I'm interested in HBO Max. I think AT&T is a buy. It's still a buy. I
Yeah,
mean,
you get a dividend too. Four
yeah, you get a dividend too.
percent.
Correct,
Come on,
correct. Should
come on.
get this at $24. Sure. I think we've made a solid case of what to buy already.
Yeah,
These are a lot of names,
yeah,
a lot of entertainment. Renewables, you're going long UUU, can go CCJ, uranium,
yeah,
CNN. There's just so many.
yeah. Well, I'm. You know, I think if I'm like, if I'm talking to somebody and I'm like, hey, and they're asked, where do I put my money? Uranium for me all day, all day.
I like the fact that you are very bullish in your convictions.
Yeah.
Not many people are.
There's a perfect supply and demand, and there's a macro backdrop, and there's also like a another backdrop of in terms of what's happening in the markets, the charts. You have a company that's just buying up all the spot uranium, like it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Okay. So to summarize for everyone tuning in, we're long renewables. So we're going long renewables. CCJ, uranium. You can just check UEC, URG. There's just so many renewables, but mostly uranium. We can
No,
also go long solars. Actually, solars have been doing well last week.
and I will say
Solar Edge did
don't
well.
don't buy
Mhm.
uranium like right now. Like buy it on a pullback. You know,
Yeah,
just
just wait for pullbacks because you'll often get this market to be volatile. So you'll always get
you're always going to
your
get a
entry. You're gonna get your entry.
yeah.
Enphase did very well because that very strong moves, 50%. This was a retest, gonna go back up. So Enphase, Solar Edge. How about semiconductors? I forgot to ask about semicons,
Yeah. And I talked with Jeff for a little
data
bit.
centers. Uh-huh.
We talked shop a little bit when I was out there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a really good bull case for semiconductor.
For
I'll,
semicons.
I'll let him discuss that next time, but
Sure, sure, sure.
he's
No
got
worries.
at that for sure.
So bullish on semiconductors. So it's really long Nvidia, AMD,
Hmm.
Philips, basically stock sell.
Hmm.
Yeah. Cybersecurity is a buy. All right. So we'll just wait for that.
The
Of
ones
course, reopening. We're a bull. Disney, Airbnb.
the
What
ones
are your best reopening stocks?
so reopening. Ooh,
Hmm.
right now. Um,
Everyone's going to travel. So are you going to go along all the hotels?
I'm just kind of like long with Krispy Kreme donuts.
Ah, yeah, yeah. Last week it was very good, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Unat did well on their earnings. That was good. Yeah.
No, I'm
I
hungry
think
now.
Panera is also
No.
doing well.
Um,
Panera bread.
and what is it? MGM. I'm long and
Ah, casinos.
yeah.
Actually, Las Vegas Sands already bottomed out. You're right with that. LVS, which is already exhibiting an upward trend here.
Mm,
Bullish on I'm bullish on the weakest casinos because it's also the stock that I know it's the weakest. That's why I'm bullish on it. Because usually when you turn around, you usually are gonna find the weakest names to go up rather than the strongest ones.
there is
Mostly
there,
due to short covering.
I heard there's a resorts world in Manila. Is that true?
Yes, there is. You're right. We're buying in Philippines though. We're bullish reopening via Cebu Pacific, which is our airline,
Yeah.
and casino, which is yeah, you're right. Bloomberry. Resorts World is
Publicly
more of
traded.
a franchise. We
Publicly
have in the
traded.
Philippines a company that you don't need to do franchise. Rezon was good in this. He built his own. There's a Filipino magnate here who he's very rich in terms of all these container terminals, international, and then he diversified in casinos. He created his own, so he doesn't have to franchise or pay anyone any fees, unlike Resorts World, because like Resorts World is more of a genting joint venture.
It
So
was
from an earning standpoint, I
that
think
new,
Bloomberry has a better
new.
movement.
It's a new casino in Vegas, but it was so nice. I went there like two or
Which
three
which one? Which is a new casino
in
in Vegas?
Resorts World. Yeah,
Resorts World. Also, it's the Genting. Oh, yeah, it's the Genting group basically. It's a Malaysian firm, Genting.
it was full.
I think it's Malaysian or is it Singapore? Like they
Really,
have everyone. So
really.
like
If you
Resorts World has in
go
Manila
to
and then
Vegas,
in
they
Singapore. Mhm. And then maybe in Vegas. Yeah.
what do we
But
got?
all the glitz and glamour isn't really how I mean, casinos are really about junkets.
Hmm.
It's not about like the mass retail. Resorts World, I mean, fundamentally in the Philippines, for instance, it has the weakest VIP tables. It's more of a mass gaming
Hmm.
versus Bloom, who's really targeted to the high end junkets. I mean, compare the fact that you have 1,000 junket operators versus, say, I'm not quite sure about these. My data is like mostly anecdotal and maybe like 2 to 3 years worth prior to pandemic data. But it was really always Bloomberry and the junket operators of Macau. It's still Macau. So why don't we take a look at Macau? Wait up. Let me see
In
how Melco's doing.
terms of places that I've been in Vegas, like to go and eat, like they have an
Mm-hmm.
enormous food street,
Mm-hmm.
Asian street food thing going on,
Mm-hmm.
and that is like I'm gonna be going back, and that's kind of like I follow my palate with these things.
Mm. You just follow it. Well, if you're following food,
Yeah,
restaurants should be the recovery play.
yeah.
In the Philippines, I'd say that recovery already transpired with Jollibee. That's like our McDonald's in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
But Jollibee owns so many. So they used the pandemic as a reason to use their free money. They borrowed money like in the realm of $500 million. That's considered big already in the Philippines. And I think they raised some money through bonds. They acquired all these restaurants that were going to shut down or were just getting sold off very cheaply. One thing that they did very well was they acquired a lot of Tim Ho Wan. So it's like a dim sum global giant. And they've been prudent in their acquisitions recently because recently they bought like a Taiwan milk tea shop. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of a lot of these high margin drinks.
Mm-hmm.
So you and I both know that Starbucks what makes huge margins, right? So I mean, every other giant wants to make money on the beverages, and I think that that was a very good. I just don't know if this acquisition of a Taiwan milk tea brand is going to be profitable for Jollibee, but they
Yeah.
bought it cheap because like I
The
took a look.
fu
The
is the
sales.
kung fu. I see a lot of these like kung fu tea places that are just like there's lines going around the corner, and I'm like,
Um,
what are they drinking?
So Filipinos, I think their alternative to Starbucks is milk tea. So
Mm,
we in the Philippines, and I don't think this is a Filipino thing. This is an Asian thing, or
mm,
maybe it's not even an Asian thing. Um, so Taiwan is you're going to Taiwan soon, right? You said so. When you're in Taiwan, you will definitely see people eat a lot of beef noodles and drink a lot of milk tea.
mm,
So yeah, so milk tea brand, they bought like Milk Shaw. I think like that is a very good acquisition, especially when I saw like the details. I
mm.
think they just paid for like less than so they bought it $12 million, and this company's sales is in the realm of they were saying the realm of wait up. I think they paid like 1 times to 2 times PE ratio,
Mm.
like $600 million worth of sales. I'm sorry, was it 600 or 300? I forget,
Good
but I
acquisition.
computed it
Good
and I
acquisition.
was saying this was such a huge acquisition and the market didn't even pay attention to it.
Yeah.
That's funny to me because
Yeah.
maybe it's because it's a brand that people don't know. I mean, if you're a Filipino, and so usually what I've noticed is that when a company acquires and it's a brand that they don't know, uh, they don't know how to react about it.
Mm.
Except that if you're Taiwanese and you look at this, and when you're doing your numbers, you don't look at the brand. What you look at, what's the sales, how much did I pay for it, and is it really a popular brand? So apparently this brand is highly popular in Taiwan. So I'm not Taiwanese, but if you've got 250 shops in Taiwan and you're expanding all across the world, should be good. I don't know. That said, as you say, you follow your palate when it comes to investing on food. So
Definitely.
that's also the reason why I bought in the Philippines Shakey's Pizza. I followed my
All right.
palate,
All right. I'm
which is
looking forward
Potato
to
Corner.
all of that.
Basically, it's like buying Domino's Pizza in the Philippines, who owns like a ton of chicken outlets as well.
Okay.
And well, you're paying something like almost for free the entire
I don't
Potato
know.
Corner
I don't know if I can go to
franchise
the
company,
Philippines.
basically.
If I go to the Philippines for pizza, like I feel like there's something wrong with me.
No, if you're gonna go to the Philippines, what you'll do is you will buy companies that are, well, no, sorry. We're not gonna go to the Philippines to buy stocks. What we're gonna do to the Philippines is, well, this is Shakey's Pizza, by the way. Let me just share to you. Yeah, I'm sharing the screen. The Shakey's Pizza, it's not liquid. That's a problem with these companies in the Philippines. Not liquid, but I think this one goes up. Shakey's
Oh yeah,
Pizza.
really good.
Yeah. It's a I
Looks
don't
like
think you
pie.
really buy a company because you just like the food.
Mm,
Um, of course, it has to do with the valuations.
yeah, yeah.
You,
No,
you won't need 10x in the
the exact
Philippines, though.
opposite.
You'll do better with your cybersecurity names and your uranium names.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
just go to the Philippines to relax, retire if you wish.
That's the
You've
plan.
got
That's the plan.
beautiful beaches,
There. I'm
beautiful
there.
beaches.
I'm there.
So I mean, so I was listening to this guy retire. He wanted to retire. He said that he makes like $140,000 a year in US, and I said
Mm.
in the Philippines you'll be like a king here.
No.
And if
Okay.
you want to like stay in a beach every day, you do an Airbnb if you want. You
Yeah.
can like you'll just spend something in the realm of like $20,000 to $30,000 a year if you're alone. And if you want to splurge, maybe $50,000, $60,000, that's a lot of money. Just rent an entire year, a vacation home if you wish, and stay. I mean, if you want to retire, you can buy a home also. A lot of foreigners, I believe, they are digital nomads anyway. So this remote work from home is
Yeah.
really a positive for Airbnb.
Yeah.
So I mean, because what people will realize is that they could live and save like 50 to $100,000 every year. Because if they're really getting paid 140,000
Hmm.
every year, and their company doesn't care if they're living in Japan or living in the US or living in the Philippines, as long as they have an internet connection, that would spell wonders for countries like Philippines and Indonesia.
Yeah. It's a really it's a disruption of like the rental system because
Yeah.
everybody rents their apartment. Like no, you don't have to do that anymore. You can just Airbnb
You
it.
can get the best beach place in the Philippines for like 10,000 pesos a night. That's like $200 a night. It's already great. And I'm not even talking
The
about like
best. Yeah.
um
You said the best
and
for
well, of
200.
course there will be 100,000 peso a night because I'm not a frequent traveler. But
Hmm.
you get a better quality for the same price that you pay a hotel.
Hmm.
So I mean, you're paying a luxury hotel probably $200 a night, and you don't have a beachfront. Here, you'll have it. You'll even get it for free buffets, and the thing is, in the Philippines, I think like the biggest spark of GDP in the Philippines has to be tourism.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm finance chief of the Philippines, I would tell the world, I will tell the tourism head, I will appoint a very good tourism head. Because what the Philippines has to display, I mean, the 10x investment in the Philippines, that really, even Condé Nast said it, right? Condé Nast is the travelers of the world. They said the Philippines has the best beaches. Palawan, Boracay. It's always in the top five. And I've been to the Phuket, Bali.
Yeah.
And I'm not a frequent traveler, but it's enough to say that what I've seen and what we have in the Philippines, it's super value for money.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can just do a Google search and check what other better
I'm gonna
foreigners
I'm
do.
gonna try this out for myself. For
Live in the Philippines for like a year. I
get it.
mean, you would, I don't know if you could live in the Philippines for a year, but let's say live in the Philippines for like 3 months doing Airbnbs all
Yeah.
throughout,
Yeah.
you would save money. That's the truth. I mean, you're already having a vacation, but you would even save money because at the end of the day, you have to compare how much am I paying in the U.S. How much is my cost of living in the U.S. versus my cost of living in the Philippines? And soon enough, that's the reason why a lot of foreigners eventually retired in the Philippines because
Hmm.
that's when they realized, hey, and that's how we ended up with a lot of like Caucasian, like Filipino Americans.
Hmm.
Like we've got a lot of mixed races here. It's because a lot of foreigners ended up living here
No.
because they realized number one, the Filipinos are very welcoming, hospitable, and they fell in love with the country. They fell in love with the people, and obviously they just stayed
No.
here forever.
No.
Mm.
Filipinos are like amazing. Amazing.
We the only problem the Philippines has, and what you'll realize afterwards is that, well, we do have a really bad government, but end of the day, I mean, you can't choose the. I mean, I think like every country has a bad thing anyway, so I don't know. I mean, I couldn't really relate because as much as possible, the only thing that you want to avoid is as a person, you just really don't care about the government, and then yeah, so
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
you don't really care.
Do your
As
yeah.
long as it
Do your
doesn't really affect your life,
do
then
your
so
daily.
be it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Well,
Plus, I don't think that you just have. I don't really think you have to have opinion on matters that does not really involve your life. I know it's wrong because like people like talk about democracy and all these. So the best thing I do is I just shut off all politics in my life. We're
mhm,
gonna have elections these days.
mhm.
I try not to speak about it. I just look at the markets and then just do markets and let's talk about how the market will like economy and everything.
Yeah.
It's getting late, so I don't want to take off your entire night. It's 12 midnight there, right? Thanks
Uh,
for the talk.
close. Getting close. It's 11.
I
Almost
yeah,
11.
it's 11. You mentioned that in a war there should be a weapon of choice.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What would be your weapon of choice in this war?
Lightsaber. Lightsaber.
Lightsaber. So like a Darth Vader.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
100%.
I wish I wish I was like some X-Men who just go invisible. But I'm bad.
What do you
I
got?
don't know.
What do you got? What are you bringing?
I would I wouldn't be alive in an actual war scenario. Most likely I'll be the first who dies. I'm so slow. Even oh, by the way, do you watch a lot of shows on Netflix? So I watch a Netflix show. You'll get a little bit sad about it, but in the Philippines there's a term called ines, which is frustrated. So there's a bunch of high schoolers who has a zombie apocalypse. I'm not sure. It's
Mhm.
number one trending in the Philippines.
I
The
haven't seen.
title is All of Us Are Dead. So it's a Korean drama, K
Haven't seen.
drama.
Haven't seen this.
So have you watched Train to Busan? Like the
No.
Korean zombie movie?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Okay, so I'm a big fan of zombie movies and zombie shows. So like this is just the same. I mean, if you've seen a lot of zombie related genre, so it's also the same zombie genre. But I'm a little bit frustrated because the students here are so stupid. Like they don't have situational awareness. So like you said that you are a doctor and it's related to like military and war. So I think like if you watch it, you'll get a little bit frustrated because these students don't know how to act in a war scenario. Like like you would be thinking to yourself, why are they alive? They should be dead already. Because
Hmm.
like they are they are sorting high school issues in front of a world where it's going chaotic and zombies, and they're still thinking about their personal
Yeah.
social issues, or they're getting bullied, and it's like
Sounds like The Walking Dead a little bit.
it's yeah. I love The Walking Dead because The Walking Dead people are thinking.
Mm,
These are like
yeah,
stupid
yeah.
kids in a Walking Dead
Yeah.
scenario. So, but
Like it's like Dawson's Creek is like zombies or something.
yeah. That's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
But in a way, you would still watch it all throughout. You'll just get a little bit sad. I I think there are some genre that you watch because nakakainis. It's just so frustrating. This is gonna be so different from Squid Game. With Squid Game, the people are smart. Here, they're like super stupid. Like
But you
you'd say, "Oh my
but
God,
you
why are
can't
they still thinking
but
about this?"
you can't stop watching it.
Huh?
But you
You
can't.
you will watch it because they're stupid. I mean, like why discuss love story in the middle of a Walking Dead?
Yeah,
Think
yeah.
about it
They do
that
that.
way. Like
They do that.
high
They
school
do that.
issues like love don't matter in a Walking Dead scenario. Let's just get the zombies and survive, you
Yeah,
know? And they're thinking about their own. They're so selfish. They're thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about the welfare of their survival. So it's really stupid. There's only one character I like there, which is Guinam.
yeah.
It's weird. I end up liking the villains.
I'm gonna have to look for
Even
this.
for the
Yeah,
Punisher. Did
saying
you
a
watch the Punisher?
lot.
I like the villain there. It's so surreal that I end up liking the villains because they're the ones who think. They
Yeah,
have issues, but they're smart.
yeah. They
That's
usually
why,
they're
that's the reason why they survive anyway, right? Because
yeah,
you
yeah.
can't survive if you have no fast skills.
Their
So,
whole the whole plot is based on you trying to figure out what they're trying to do. So they have to be smart, right?
yeah, the villains are the ones that will create the plot, the chaos. And
Yeah,
sometimes I wonder, I often say, there's like, why is it that this person is still alive? I mean, like she is so stupid. She should, and why? I mean, diba, you just wonder why is she still alive? And then people are saying, "Oh, that's a plot armor."
yeah.
And then I said, "What's a plot armor?"
The trick.
Supposedly, there are people who are supposed to have they have to be alive because, like the series would die if they're not yet dead.
Yeah, yeah,
So, yeah, hey. So just as you like Squid Game, you might want to watch this one.
yeah. I'm there. I'm there for
The
it.
genre for watching.
I
All
like it.
right. Thank you. See you again next
All
week.
right.
Next 2 weeks. Bye. Good night. Good night.